Well, my name's Brent Barnhart. I have Country Creek Produce Farm. I started it in 2007. I farm roughly 300 to 350 acres. My grandfather always grew a small garden and it increased in a little bit of size, and we irrigated and played around with the crops. And then I kind of went off and worked on my own, and then decided whenever I wanted to start a business is what I was going to start. So I come back and started on a small scale of about 35 acres of all combined row crops, small vegetables, just to get started, sold to local markets. And then it evolved into a larger business that it is today. So I grow about 100 acres of vegetables, mixed fresh market vegetables and processing vegetables on a local store-to-store delivery level. I have 3 markets around Chambersburg. I do processing tomatoes, roughly grow 40 acres of them. Finish the year out on rotational row crops and sell that stuff for grain. The main way I manage risk on this farm is insurance. You can't be without it. Crop insurance, I put crop insurance on my strawberries, which would be a NAP policy through FSA. On my corn, beans, and wheat, I carry a traditional policy through my insurance carrier. On my tomato crop, I insure them just like I would any other, corn, bean crop. But you have to have it. On years like we had in 2011, if I didn't have insurance, I'd be out of business. I diversify with sweet corn, regular row crop corn, beans, cucumbers, peppers, squash, pumpkins, watermelons, and the diversification of all that, it was up, down, up, down. When it all came together, it all shook out, and we're still here. Otherwise, we wouldn't. Without insurance, we wouldn't be here at all. When you start thinking where you're going to plant your wheat, going to put it after field corn or beans, or where you're going to put it. A lot of times I tend to plant my wheat after tomatoes. It seems like my wheat does better after a tomato crop. And then we go plant the following year, we go in with beans, and then we go back to tomatoes and a lot of that stuff. But like all my small vegetables, all that stuff, we got to keep it close to water for irrigation purposes, but we try to rotate it every 2 years and keep it out of the same spot and rotate in with some kind of wheat or corn or beans, something that's going to rotate well there. But yes, you start planning a year ahead of time. The hardest lessons I learned was go big too fast. Some of the biggest challenge would have been the weather. It takes a lot of planning in this business to get things done and to get it done right. But that's probably the biggest challenge I faced, was getting big too fast. And now I try to stay a step ahead instead of a step behind. If somebody came to me and said they wanted, and I just had a guy come to me the other day, said he wanted to do a fresh market and grow it across the street from his fresh market stand so people can see it. And you know what I told him? I said, don't get too big. I said, stay small. Grow 3 core crops, buy the rest from your neighbor or your friend that grows the other 3 crops. Don't try to grow everything. Pace yourself, think things through before you do it. But at least you have a good, solid line of vegetables on your stand that's good quality. My long-term business outlook is to serve Chambersburg, Hagerstown, fresh market, store-to-store business as a local farmer for the local towns. And then I also look to have at least 3 to 4 fruit stands that people can stop in their cars and get stuff throughout the summer. And then my goal for the 2012 season is to have a little bit of agritourism for fall and have a corn maze pumpkin patch and the pumpkin cannon. I think it's important that the public stays involved with the local agriculture. Very optimistic. I think there's going to be a huge demand for agriculture in the future because they're making them more ground and there's more people eating. So, I think that we really need to focus on where it goes and how we want to keep the stuff local. So I think it's a good thing to be involved with.